4 coaches, 1 mission to help you transform your life. I am so happy to be here. I am Jennifer, owner of Oxygen, a mind and body coaching company. I help people who are ready to take back their health and happiness one habit at a time. Maggie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. My name is Maggie Temez, and I am the owner and founder of Running Fox Living Food. Our mission is to help diabetics who are struggling with adapting to new dietary needs to be able to find time, control, and confidence in their meal choices without getting trapped in like bland and boring diets. Um, Iris.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Jennifer. And thank you, Juliet, because you're almost here. It'll be your time. So my name is Ira Santos, and I am the founder of Ira Santos Counseling. And I work with adult women, 45 to 55, to end with the emotional trauma that arises after a toxic relationship and to return to inner peace and self-love and to get the relationship that you deserve and want. Um, Juliet.
Thank you, Iris. Thank you, everyone. Hi, everyone. So my name is Juliet, and I'm a confidence coach, and I'm here to help women from 30 to 45 overwhelmed by their imposter syndrome, their low confidence, to reclaim their confidence and to have a way happier life. And go back to Jennifer.
Thank you, everyone. I am so excited. So today's topic is something that I learned from Ed Milet years ago, and it just stuck with me. It's called separation season. And what I like about it, we're in the holiday season. November, December tends to be a busier time of year, if we can all agree to that, right? And so what happens when we get busier in our life, there's more things, right? There's more get-togethers, there's more food, and in all this more, then it's something else has to give. And normally it's our sleep, it's our healthy habits, our healthy eating. And what starts to happen is we start to maybe have a little bit more sugar in our diet, less sleep, we're not taking care of ourselves. And you ever notice that most people call that time of year cold season? It's because our bodies are run down, our minds are overtaxed, and there's this dis-ease in our body, which shows up in the form of illness. And so what I want to talk about is how can we separate ourselves this season? Instead of entering cold season, let's enter separation season. And all separation season for me, it means just staying on my healthy habits. Yes, going to those parties, but maybe bringing salads or bringing something healthy. Make sure I get extra water, maintaining my exercise, connecting with people who are like-minded. Maybe instead of going to the bars, we all go for a walk. So when I mentioned separation season, what are thoughts about separation season or even cold season? Maggie? Oh, everyone's like, yes.
So I'm so glad you chose this as a topic. And you had mentioned it a while back to me, and I was like, what is separation season? But I loved that explanation and like how we support our bodies. And so as a trial run, I started practicing in like October how to do some of these things because Halloween was coming up. And so like so the example I'm going to use, there was a baby shower in October, and like everyone's talking about they're going to bring cupcakes and this and that. And I was like, what if I bring vegetables? Is anybody going to be mad at me for bringing vegetables? And they were all like, oh no, that would be great. And so like I put together like a hummus and dip tray to take and go. And it was my first time to like do that and like ask about it. And like it went over really, really well. And so like I love that we are talking about this, and I would think it would be like so amazing if more people could do that. maybe this Thanksgiving, instead of an extra pie, maybe take a appetizer that is more on the healthy snack side, kind of a thing. So
I love
don't
I
know.
love that you embrace the concept and you put it to practice and you're in the separation season. That's amazing. Iris.
Thank you. This is so amazing. You just reminded me, I didn't understand what separation season was either. So thank you for this topic because it separates us from the norm, from what the habits of the daily life, which it requires mindfulness. Separate ourselves from the things that they look good, they sound good, and then it has nothing to do with being good or bad, but we know personally that it's not the best for our bodies in our mind, because when the body doesn't feel good, we don't feel good.
yeah.
But Maggie, you reminded me back in September, my last family gather, and this is perfect because naturally life separates me from the moment in the sense that nobody caters to me that I am a vegan. They still cook the same food with all kinds of things that I don't eat, and there's nothing there for me. So thankfully, my mother, she's very mindful about what I eat. She doesn't understand it, but she still respects it. So she brings food that I will eat. So if it weren't because of my mother, I'll be starving the whole entire day. So, like you said, Jennifer, bring snack or bring a salad or bring something so you can stay consistent with who you are, because the holidays are not easy. I am guilty. I go to a party and it's something that I can eat. I will eat 3,000 the amount that I usually will. So I need to remember to separate myself and to always remember to use food as a fuel, energy, not as a pleasure. Well, it could be pleasurable, but not to the point of hurting ourselves.
Yeah.
Pleasure without overindulging. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is
yeah.
what happened at parties.
And it's you're separating yourself not only from the norm, but also from the other version of yourself. Every moment is the opportunity to separate ourselves from the person we are no longer wanting to be, but wanting to be even better version of ourselves. Juliet, I saw. It's like ready.
Yeah, I do agree with Iris. I think it's really being self-conscious. So I don't drink alcohol, but I know people who start drinking, and when they're, with family, friends, they start to drink and drink and drink. And I think at some point you should be really mindful of and self-conscious, self-aware of what you are doing. And for example, when I go out, I always take one drink, like it's gonna be like either a mocktail or I don't know, a soft drink. But after I would take a glass of water. I wouldn't just successfully, take one soft drink and then another one and then another one. I would take one soft drink and then I would take a glass of water. And so kind of slow down, because you don't drink water the same way you drink a sweet thing.
I love that.
So it's going to take it like way more time. And I think when specifically when you drink alcohol, because you have the sugar and the alcohol with it, I think just breaking down like in between having a glass of water, so you can really start. I know it's not always easy, and it's like smoking. I know I don't smoke again, but all the smoker I've been with are always, oh yeah, when I'm with some other people who are smoking, I just keep going on. And I think it's the same thing. Just be self-conscious and just kind of try to start breaking down your bad habits or your bad thing, but with just kind of, one glass of water in between 2 glasses of beers. Is that crazy?
That's a great tip. Iris and then Maggie.
Oh, Julia, this was really good because it reminded me of so many different things. But the last thing that it reminded me, and it goes back to be mindful and to have making decision from a conscience, which is mindfulness anyway. I went out with my girlfriends, a group of girlfriends that I have, which I have, by then I had decided that I wasn't going to drink alcohol. And the last time we went together, they literally bullied me to the tea because I would not drink that alcohol, that shot of tequila that they prepared for me. It stayed there the whole entire night, but they did not give up. They pushed me, pushed me, pushed me until they realized, like 15 minutes before the leaving, that I wasn't going to touch it. But they didn't
New
stop the
friends.
bullying. My friend, and those are really good friends, but at that moment they were not my friend because they didn't even know who they were at that moment. That's why mindfulness and loving yourself and knowing who you are, to separate yourself even from the people that are your people, because sometimes your people are not your people.
Yeah,
But it goes
true.
back to that, to separate yourself, because you at the end are responsible for every choice that you make.
Ah,
I,
I
I love
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
That is the show in itself.
I I
That
do. I love that so much. And like it is about separating ourselves and like making those choices because to kind of go back to last week, this is how we show ourselves love,
Mhm.
is that if we can put what we know is best for us above what other people want us to do. And like if we're just honest, and I feel like sometimes I'm the black sheep sometimes, especially in my own
No,
family. But like
Same.
people have a tendency that if they are doing something that they know may not be the best, they don't want to do that alone. They want someone to go with them, and they will do their very best to make that person you. And like going back to what Juliet was saying, having an alternative ready to go, a plan, instead of drinking glass after glass of bubbly beverages, I'm going to put a glass of water in between, having that habit, that substitution already as a plan, or, you know, being able to stand firm like Iris. I don't know that I have the self preservation that Iris does.
I think if
yes, you
you
do.
Just
believe,
deny it.
I think you would. If it's something you
Yes, you do.
truly, yeah, I think you do too. If it's something you truly have in your heart that you're set on, you definitely do. I love all the shares. I want to go back to Juliet's for a second because that was such an important share about if you're like, I like my beverage, we're not saying stop. We're saying, how can you separate yourself? So have your beverage, have your glass of water. But here's what I want to really point out. Don't discount that glass of water as being not enough,
Oh, it's
because
good.
putting a glass of water in between each drink, although it's like your mind might think it's not enough to make change, that is mentally and physically making changes. So stick to those small habits. How can you separate yourself this season? Drop it in the comments. We love to know. And here's how we're going to show up. So girls, what is one thing you're going to commit to this season in our separation season? What is one thing that you are going to commit to separate yourself from your old self or maybe from the norm?
Eating sugar.
So
Drinking tea with sugar, because I'm not a sugary person, but I have been drinking tea with honey. I'm going to start drinking my tea. And I did. I started it already back in October, but I'm going to continue because the holidays is coming and it's not easy when you are, and then and this is so good and dry. Stay from sugary thing or honey, I should say, because I don't do sugar.
That's amazing. That's so powerful. That extra sugar is going to reduce taking it out is going to reduce inflammation in your body, and inflammation causes dis-ease. So that is a great thing. If anybody's like Iris, definitely take out the sugar. You're going to see massive impact. Juliet, how are you separating yourself this season?
Yeah. So before I go, I just want to say something that I think it's important specifically for young people, but adults also do the same. Is you don't have to follow other people. Like Iris said, I'm
Yeah.
French. I was in France, and all my friends in France always try to push me to drink or to smoke, and I hate both of them. So I've always, even for your self-esteem, being able to say no,
Mhm.
even if they harass you all night, all week, all months, or all year. For me, what's years and years after years. It's good for you. It's good for your self-esteem, and you have the right to say no. It's okay to say no, and it's really, really okay to say no.
I love that.
Absolutely.
For my thing is, I started also a few weeks ago, is really get more vegetables in my food, and I went like green and more
Yay!
green vegetables in my
I love
I
that.
know. I'm so excited.
Less sugar, more greens. These are awesome things. Maggie and I are like, yes, we
I
love it.
know. I am. I'm so excited.
Maggie, how are you separating yourself this season?
I kind of already said it, but it was my plan. Instead
Okay.
of because we're going over to friends and families for holidays. Um, I actually have every intention to make like a pre-appetizer vegetable tray with an assortment of healthy dips that, instead of snacking on chips or whatever when they're watching football before dinner, we can have better options available. Um, and that's what I'm going to have for myself and then provide for others instead of doing a cake or a pie.
I
I
love
actually
that.
had to tell someone that because for anybody who doesn't know, I was a cake decorator in my past, and so I occasionally get requests for these kinds of things.
Not anymore.
Not
You
anymore.
can make healthier version. I actually make sweet potato brownies. I make protein packed sweet potato brownies that are really good. So there are healthy
I need
alternatives.
to try that.
Yeah, I'm going to share the recipe again. I shared it on my YouTube channel probably
Yeah, I
last
know.
year, but I'll definitely
Just
share.
bring it when we meet when we
Oh, I'll
meet
make it
next
for,
Oh,
week.
next
yes.
month, next month.
Okay, I'll make
Yeah.
it for you guys. That's right.
So-
When we get together, I will make us sweet potato brownies. That'll be my contribution.
So I may then I'm gonna take that as a challenge, Jen, and I'm going to still do my pre-appetizer, but I'm also going to make a healthy version of dessert so that that's available too.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a ton of healthy versions. A lot of times I would look for paleo recipes because they're more earth foods that you can make into really good desserts. I love that challenge for you. How I'm separating myself this season is I am getting back into my yoga practice. Without teaching as much as I was teaching yoga, I kind of fell out of my own practice. And over the weekend, I shot some yoga videos and I was like, this feels really good. Why did I stop doing this? You know what? It happens. And that's how we lose our habits. Life happens. And so this is a reminder, whatever was feeling good, separation season, add that back in this season. Drop it in the comments.
Nice.
We thank you all for joining us and look forward to seeing you next week. Don't forget to follow us, share this with your friends. We are 4 coaches, 1 mission to transform your Sunday. We'll see you next time.
See you,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Oh, such a good conversation.